as these surfers rode more and more of the North Shore's fantastic waves. The biggest wave of all still eluded them. The spot? Waimea Bay, which began to break when the rest of the North Shore was too big to surf. But Waimea Bay was riddled with taboos and fears, as surfers of the 50s were haunted by the memory of Dickie Cross, a young California surfer who in December of 1943 became trapped by a fast-rising storm swell while surfing Sunset Beach. Unable to reach the shore, he and fellow surfer Woody Brown elected to paddle 3 miles south to the safer, deep-water Waimea Bay. But 50-foot waves were closing out the bay, and while attempting to reach the shore, both were caught by mountains of whitewater and ripped from their boards. Brown eventually washed up on shore naked, while 17-year-old Cross was never seen again.
I mean, it spooked everybody. They were like, you can't ride there. It's it's a killer. We're not gonna go out there, you're gonna die.
Along with the death of Dickie Cross, Waimea's reputation was steeped in superstition and dread, with tales that ranged from haunted houses on the point to human sacrifices at the Heiau, or Hawaiian burial ground overlooking the bay.
All of these things were whizzing around this place like a bunch of ghouls, and people really believed that if you paddled out, there was going to be this goddamn vortex. It'd be like flushing a toilet, and there go the howlies for the season.
People thought you couldn't ride Waimea Bay. They watched it, they looked at it, and they said, can't be done.
You know, you'd look at Waimea and you'd wonder, can the human body survive the wipeout?
But the lure of riding Waimea was unrelenting, as during each big swell, surfers would find themselves standing spellbound on the shore, transfixed by the sight of these huge, perfectly shaped waves exploding off the point.
We'd go by there when it was breaking, and you're going, geez, that looks like a rideable wave.
You could see that this had all the potential of being a great surf spot, and at some point, you just had to go to hell with it. We can do this thing.
On a fall day in October of 1957, a handful of surfers converged on Waimea as a 20-foot swell began lighting up the bay. Sitting on the point watching the huge empty waves with his buddy Mike Stang, 19-year-old Greg Noll had finally seen enough. He unstrapped his board and with Mike Stang in tow, walked down to the water's edge. Moments later, they were joined by fellow surfers Pat Curran, Mickey Munoz, Del Cannon, Fred Van Dyke, Harry Church, Bing Copeland, and Bob Bermel, who together with Noll and Stang paddled out to attempt the impossible.
It was obvious where the waves were breaking, and we'd all had enough experience so that, you knew pretty much where to paddle to.
I remember paddling into the lineup, and your balls were just in your stomach, thinking that the bottom was going to fall out and something was going to eat you alive.
I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to get wiped out because I know there's sharks here, and I'm not into swimming with sharks exactly.
We got out there, it was a big surprise. It's, it's not an easy takeoff.
I took off on a wave and went down the side and popped out the other end and went, shit, I'm still alive, nothing's happened.
After we got a couple of waves, that kind of took, hey, we can do this,
They broke the taboo, they went out and did it. And once it was done, opened up the floodgates, it's like, okay, now how far do we